Hello, my name is Daniel Francis, and this is my best friend, my girlfriend, my co-host,
Katie Ludlow, and I am a Swiftie.
And I am not. And this is
Our Songs,
Our Films.
Each episode, we watch and rate a different Taylor Swift music video.
And try to objectively judge something that is inherently and deeply subjective.
We're going to be taking a look at Our Song this week. Our Song is what I will be calling it, much like ours.
Our Song?
Our Song. Let's start out by sharing our personal perception scores for this one, which, as a reminder, this is just our gut reaction after our first watch through, how we felt about it without
Before we
getting
got into all of that.
Before we get into the nitpicking.
My personal perception, I want. This is always the toughest part. I wonder if we're gonna like agree or disagree, or what kind of episode it's gonna be.
Right.
I gave it a 6.5.
6.5. I gave it a 7.
Okay. So
that's
we're
not
pretty
too
close.
far
We're pretty close.
off. Yeah.
Okay. 6.5 and a 7.
You were so scared about that.
Well,
Did you think I was going to give it a 10?
Well, I don't know, because when we did Love Story, which was our third episode.
Yeah.
I gave it I don't remember, like a 4 or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, you hated that
I
one.
did not like it, and
I love it.
You loved it,
Yeah.
and it was.
Yeah, I'm surprised you gave this one a high score, but you did already kind of spoil that for me, that you gave it a higher score than I would think.
Yeah.
So.
But anywho, you're leading us through this. What kind of stats do you have for us?
Yeah, so starting with like our credits and our background information. This is from Taylor's first album. You'll hear this album referred to as debut because it's just self-titled. So it's called Taylor Swift. But in her discography, people will refer to it as debut. Okay. Our Song was written for Taylor Swift's 9th grade talent show.
Wow.
She wrote the song in 20 minutes. And when asked about her inspiration, she said, I just think this is so Taylor to say this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did she say?
Her inspiration. She said, I wrote about this guy I was dating and how we didn't have a song. So I went ahead and wrote us one. Course. And I thought it was cute. What were you going to say?
Well, I'm getting this picture of Taylor Swift, how she writes all of her songs in like an afternoon, essentially.
She's crazy.
I don't know if she's crazy that she's able to just pump them out, and she has a lot of songs out there.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if maybe she's got a little bit of like procrastinator in her.
No,
like,
I think it is.
The talent show is in like tomorrow. I'm gonna write a song today.
Right. I've always wondered if it's ADHD. Like,
maybe.
She can't focus on something for longer than like a day.
So she has to pump it out.
Right. She's like, if I don't finish it, it's not gonna get done. I don't know. Anyway, months after performing this song in her school's talent show, her classmates were still coming up to her and reciting the lyrics or singing the melody, and she knew there must have been something there. So,
That's fun.
She was in the middle of recording her debut album, so she insisted that Our Song would be on the track list. And it was one of 3 songs that she wrote by herself for this album, which is fun.
Okay.
She chose Our Song to be the album's closing track because she thought the final refrain, "Play It Again," would send subliminal messaging to the listeners to make them play the album again.
Of course. And she has it underscored backwards throughout the entire song. Play it again.
Exactly. Yeah. All of Taylor's music is just subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
Taylor's debut album was released on October 24th, 2006 through Big Machine Records. Our Song was the 3rd single from the album, released to U.S. country radio almost a year later on September 10th, 2007. And I didn't know this, but Our Song was later included on the international version of the Fearless album in 2009.
So, Wait a second. They pulled it into her second album?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Debut made it overseas, like if there was an international version of it. Which I don't know why there's an international version
Why not just
in general
sell
now
the
that I'm thinking
same
about
one?
that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
Some credits for you, Daniel.
Oh, yes.
Our song features Taylor Swift on vocals, guitar, and harmony vocals, Nathan Chapman on banjo, guitar, and harmony vocals, Bruce Baton on...
I thought you were going to say Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. No, Bruce Baton on...
On the baton.
Dobro? D-O-B-R-O, which as far as I can tell is a kind of guitar.
Okay.
I tried to look into it and it was basically like...
Dobro.
It's... I tried to look into it and it was like, it's a guitar. And I was like, okay, but what's the difference?
I
And
gotta
it was
see a
like,
picture
it's
of
a
this.
guitar. And I was like, okay.
D-O-B-R-O. Okay. Okay, so this is a kind of guitar that has like a metal plate on the front of it. It's a kind of guitar, but it uses that metal to, I imagine, kind of like give it a little bit of a different kind of resonance in it.
Okay.
I think it's more brassy or tinny or something.
Okay,
like that.
probably tinny, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's really cool looking.
Continuing on our credits for the song. Nick Buda on drums, Eric Darkin on additional percussion. Hold on, I gotta read my note on how to pronounce this. Okay, Rob Ahakos on fiddle, and Tim Marks on bass. The song was produced by Nathan Chapman, recorded by Chad Carlson, mixed by Chuck Ainley and Greg Lawrence, and engineered by... Oh, I gotta read my other note. This is the hard one.
This is the hard one.
I've literally been practicing this for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Aaron Chmielavsky.
All right. Chmielavsky.
Chmie. It's
Chmielavsky.
Chmielewski.
Chmielavsky. That's interesting.
It's Hungarian.
It's Hungarian.
I've been practicing it for a week.
Nice. Hey, that's great.
Chmielavsky.
Okay, we need to move on.
I'll probably cut most of that. Critics adored our song, applauding Taylor for her conversational lyrics and captivating and memorable hook. The song was a huge success on country radio, reaching #1 on the Hot Country Songs chart on December 15th, 2007, making it Taylor's first chart topper. And...
On her first album.
Yeah. And making Taylor, who was 17 at the time, the youngest person to single-handedly write and sing a hot country song #1 hit.
That's awesome.
She was 17.
Imagine when you're still a junior in high school, becoming an international star.
I think about the people who went to high school with Taylor Swift all the time.
Yeah. And they're like, and like,
Constantly.
oh yeah, I went on one date with Taylor Swift. I turned her down.
Right, imagine. Anyway, the song's jump from #6 to #1 marked the biggest jump to the top since Tim McGraw's song from 1998, Just to See You Smile. So this was like...
From #6 on the Hot Country 100?
6 to #1. And this was almost 10 years later.
Wow.
That record was
from
broken.
6 to 1. That's interesting. I was doing a little bit of research on the Hot 100, like the Billboard Hot 100. And they've got records. They've got there's like a Wikipedia page of like all the records.
I think
ever.
we were looking at the same thing because I was looking at that today.
And there's a specific kind of record for a highest leap to one from another position on the
right
thing. There was another one from highest leap to #2, and that was actually it was one of, I think it was me.
It was me. It was like 97 to 2.
I thought it was 100 to 2.
Maybe it was.
It doesn't matter. It was ridiculous. And then but like that happens all the time on the Billboard Hot 100.
Right.
I wonder if it's just a different kind of culture, like a listening culture on a country record.
I don't know. Anyway, our song spent 6 weeks at #1 and 24 weeks in total on the chart. On the Billboard Hot 100, our song peaked at #16, marking all 3 of her debut album singles as top 40 tracks.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for the reaction.
Top 40. Holy moly.
Yeah.
And
for like a 16, 17-year-old
16,
girl.
17-year-old girl, her first album, which, I mean, published by big label record or whatever, Big Machine, what's it called? Big Machine?
Big Machine.
Big Machine. Like, that's a huge deal. Are her parents in the music industry at all? How did she get into this, you know?
Right. Anyway, getting back to our stats, our song reached number 1 on the Billboard Canada Country Chart and reached 30 on the Canadian Hot 100.
Wow.
In 2014, so quite a few years later,
Yeah.
our song was certified 4 times platinum in the U.S.
Hey, at least they got around to it, you know?
Right. And 1 time platinum in Canada. And I don't know if that happened in 2014 or if it was like, oh, we know that in 2014 it had been certified at some point before that. You know what I mean?
Like the article that you found was posted in 2014?
Right.
I see. Okay.
So I don't know. It just said in 2014 and I said, great.
All right.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Our song featured on Rolling Stone's 2019 list of the best country songs by female artists since 2000, calling it one of Taylor's countryest songs.
Yeah.
There was surprisingly a lot said about our song by musicologists.
Okay.
I read...
Is that like the Association of Musicology?
No.
Or...
They're like music scientists.
All right.
Or I guess like theorists.
Okay.
But I read so much about like the musicality and the technique of this song. People talked about how her one-note melody conveys the narrative super well, how her twangy vocals may have been used as a means to signify her authenticity in country music, and the reason that they thought that is because Taylor came from an upper middle class background that was super different from
so she doesn't actually speak with that twang.
Right.
I see.
It's super different from other female country musicians at the time, and so they thought maybe she's putting this on to like prove that she's one of them or something.
Or she's selling to her market.
Right.
To her demographic.
Many critics have argued that even though the song was built on a banjo riff and features a fiddle solo in the break, the song may not actually be country.
No, come on.
The Washington Post and Vulture both commented on influences of hip-hop and rhythmic music.
Oh, yeah, rhythmic music. What music isn't rhythmic?
I know, for real. Sorry, you're going to make this bigger. I'm really struggling.
This is me just being... I am not a musicologist, but country's country, and this is country.
This is country, yeah. One critic commented that apart from the country music fiddles and the twang, the melody is influenced by millennial teen pop.
Okay, so if you take all the country out of it, it's not a country song.
Right. I was like, okay. But musicologists basically disagreed with all of those claims. They were like, the song is super country.
So Washington
it was critics and like...
Wow. I think that they just wanted something to say, you know? Obnoxious.
It was super obnoxious. But I read so much about the musicology of this, like the 1 to 5 note, whatever. Like, I was like, wow, and I understood it somehow.
Did you? Okay, yeah. My parents have tried to teach me like music theory, like there's the stuff that you learn in school in choir class, you know. Yeah. But then there's like the college level music theory, and they were like trying to teach me like I can't even come up with the names of the things that it went way over my head. It's like literal math.
It is.
It is a science.
It's hard.
Musicians are smart. They're not just feeling it. They're like they're smart.
They are.
Anyways.
The music video for our song was directed by Trey Fanjoy, who had directed all of Taylor Swift's singles up to that point. The video aired on CMT, CMT Pure, and Great American Country on September 24th, 2007. Our song was the #1 video on CMT for 7 weeks. It received a nomination for #1 streamed music video at the 2008 CMT Online Awards, but lost to Carrie Underwood's All American Girl.
Oh...
So it was nominated, but didn't quite make it. Our song won Video of the Year and Female Video of the Year at the 2008 CMT Music Awards. And I've always wondered, like, if you win, like, the best, then don't you automatically win your gender's best?
Seems like
so then it automatically, like, excludes one of the genders.
Or includes.
Before we jump into the synopsis, I feel an obligation to share my own history with our song, because...
Your own history?
I have a history with this song.
Did you not like it at one point?
No,
Oh,
no, no,
okay.
no, no. I think I said this in our Eras Tour episode, but I don't know what I cut out of that because we talked for a long time.
Yeah.
So it may not have made it in. But our song was the very first Taylor Swift song I ever heard.
That's right.
I was in a children's show choir through elementary and middle school, and when I was in 5th grade, the oldest group of girls got to sing a Taylor Swift medley, and each girl was assigned a solo, and I was assigned our song. And I went home and I watched this music video to try and learn the song. So not only was this the first song of hers I ever heard, but it was the first music video of hers I ever watched.
That's awesome.
And I fell in love with her. And
5th grade.
yeah, 5th grade. So anyway, I just needed to put that all
There you
out
go.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. A quick reprieve. I'd just like everyone to know that I am sitting here with my Taylor Swift Barbie doll that I got when I was 12 years old. And it is a debut doll. So she's got her blue Taylor Swift boots on and her white debut dress that is pictured on the album cover of her debut album. And she is watching over us as we record this because I just think that it's important for her to be here. It's an important part of our history together. And also, she looks nothing like Taylor Swift. So anyway, let's get into the synopsis. We open to our very favorite image on this podcast.
Oh, yes.
Taylor Swift's feet.
Oh, definitely.
More specifically, her toes. She has those like little pedicure separators between her toes, and her toenails are a cute little blue with little white polka dots. And already we have reached an inconsistency.
Inconsistency.
Because in the first seconds of the video, Taylor is painting her toes with blue nail polish.
Uh-oh.
But they've already been polka dotted with white, so she's definitely not painting blue over them. So this is a hoax, and this is
It's a lie.
this is what Taylor wrote the song "Hoax" about. Actually, was this
okay.
moment. We move to see that Taylor is on the phone. She's using a pink rotary phone that looks like it belongs to Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah, it's really it looks like a toy. It doesn't
does.
look like an actual. It
I'm
looks
sure it was just a prop, like it was not a real phone.
certainly. She also has a little heart painted on her right foot.
On her right foot. So this is something that Taylor did through this whole era. And,
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know that she did it into Fearless, but she did it all through her debut era. She would paint this little heart on her foot. I believe that this Barbie actually has, would you look at that? Little heart.
No
on her
way.
foot. But she would paint this little heart on her foot. And I think it was because she wanted to have a tattoo, but she couldn't.
Did she eventually start like painting it on her wrist or stuff like that?
No, she just stopped doing it.
I thought that you said that she had a heart on her hand for a lot of tour dates. No, not with her hands, on her hand. Oh, I thought she would like paint. Oh, it's a 13.
It's a 13. It's a 13.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's 13. The room that she's in is really
choice.
interesting. We've got
A green shag.
green shag, green walls. We have purple hardwood.
And there's a purple curtains behind her, I believe.
Purple curtains, a green plaid sofa chair with like
Yeah.
a really long skirt. And then there's a dresser that's made out of mirrors, but it's like weird.
This is not a dresser. This is her vanity.
I don't believe you.
Cut forward to like 10 seconds, and you'll see that it's the same thing. She's on the floor in front of her sink. There's a shag carpet or rug or whatever right in front of her sink in her bathroom.
Oh my god, you're right. That is, she's in
This
her
is her bathroom.
She is sitting in her bathroom.
This
Daniel, that's an incredible find because I've watched this music video probably.
I sat
million
and
times.
described the entire thing, and like there's like this weird like sconce with some like candle shaped
Yeah.
lights in the mirror. The mirror is gaudy as well, but it makes me feel so uncomfortable.
There's so much happening in this room.
and additionally,
And at the same time, nothing's happening.
nothing's happening. And I also wanted to say, because we cut to, you know, she's in front of her mirror at the sink and with the phone again and everything, but the lighting here is just horrible.
Yeah. This is really quite the room. Though, I'm not one to talk because
Was this your room?
When I was a kid, I had 3 rooms as like a kid, in 2 different houses. And in the second house that we lived in, my first room was this deep purple color that her room is, and in the second room, it was this green color.
Oh my! And my older sister, she painted her bedroom this color as well.
Which color?
The green.
The green.
Yeah.
I think that was the fad.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
To be fair, I did not choose the purple. The purple was there when we moved
you.
in. And I said, this is my room.
There you go. And all right, and now going back to the toenail polish conspiracy. When you see the sink, you see 2 different shades of blue. There's one that's more of a turquoise and one that's more of like a baby blue kind of color.
Okay.
And no white.
Ooh.
Anyways.
She's wearing white tennis shorts and a blue tank top that do not match the vibe of this room at all, which is fine because, like, obviously you don't live in clothes that match the aesthetic of your room, but also, like, it's a music video and that's the point.
Yeah. And also her hair in this shot, this little scene here, does not look like her hair.
It's her hair, but they straightened the hell out of it. And it is fried.
Yeah, it looks like something else. It looks like a nylon wig.
Yeah, it's dead.
She looks like a really, really preppy, popular high schooler.
From the 2000s.
From the 2000s.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it should also be noted that she is wearing heavy eye makeup to match the green of the room. It doesn't look that bad, but like it doesn't stand out. It doesn't look bad, but like if it was on its own, it would be like,
if she was not in this room, if she was not in front of a camera, and that's the normal thing is like you're kind of over
the top in front of the camera.
Over the top in front of a, but yeah, in front of a camera a little bit.
A last comment about what she's wearing and how she looks. She has hoop earrings and a little gold heart locket.
Is it
which
gold? I thought it was silver.
Oh, maybe it's silver.
I don't know.
Which are the 2 pieces of jewelry that I wear every day.
Really?
Yeah, is hoop earrings and a heart locket.
Hers is much bigger than yours, though.
Yeah. Mine's pretty little.
Do you wear it because she wore it in her song?
I wear it because I've been wearing it since I was Annie.
Oh, okay.
Since before Taylor Swift. I wore it before I liked Taylor.
Oh, wow. You wore it before Taylor.
No, Taylor wore it first, but I just didn't know that Taylor wore it.
I see.
Anyway, we see Taylor looking in her bathroom mirror, and she takes her lipstick and writes love with the lipstick on the mirror.
And a big heart.
And then a great big heart next to it. Which is probably a beast to clean. And I thought, who cleans that bathroom,
Yeah, how many
Taylor?
shots did they have to take?
Right. The next shot we see is the porch of this house, what you assume is this house. Through the windows, you can see the walls inside are orange.
Oh,
the front of the house is a deep purple, and the door, the window frames, and the supporting posts for the porch roof are all a light green. The porch is covered in plants and has various lanterns of different colors and patterns hanging from above. So it's quite the porch, but it is significantly better than that room.
Well, but
and
what's
it's kind
also
of cute. It's really I kind of like it. Like,
it is kind of cute, but what's a little strange to me is that there are these curtains in the windows on the sides of the porch. They almost look like they're outside of the window.
They are. they're like outside curtains.
They're outside curtains, which don't seem to. That works a little less.
I don't think they're on windows. I think they're on the edges of the porch.
Oh, as like a little shade thing?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's different.
Yeah. But anyway, Taylor peeks outside through the door and then tiptoes out. And we see really clearly her little heart tattoo that she would draw on.
And she's still barefoot.
This is by far my favorite look of Taylor's in this music video. She's wearing a big, fluffy, light blue dress that just reminds me of like a fairy.
It reminds me of high school dances.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's wearing dresses like this to high school dances?
It looks like I don't
think I've ever seen anyone wear a dress like this to a high school dance.
Well, I I guess 3 years older than you.
So you were there at a different
I was
time.
there at a different, it was a different environment.
It looks similar. It gives me like Cinderella meets a fairy vibe. Anyway, it's really cute, and she's got blue eye makeup on that matches. That again, it's on its own it would be like criminal, but it looks really good in the setting.
Are you proposing that we put people in jail for having too much makeup on?
Yes. Anyway, Taylor comes out, she sits down, and she just sings and is having a good time. She's basically just like the way that you are like in your room alone and you're like lip syncing to a song and you're like just kind of like, you're not dancing, but you're like getting into it, you know? She's doing that with herself, and it's really cute. That's pretty much it for the first verse and chorus. We just switch back and forth between these two locations. Anyway, the second verse starts with Taylor, whose hair is now in an updo, and she's wearing like a straight silk dress thing that's orange.
It's a very flat dress.
Very flat. But she's sitting on a giant bed of roses in shades of reds, yellows, and oranges. And her eye makeup is pretty neutral here, minus some glitter on the under eye. I felt the need to comment on the eye makeup since it's been so big and loud in the other scenes. But we're looking down at her in an aerial shot as she lounges in the flowers. And she just sings there for a bit. And this was the shot that I had as my wallpaper as a kid. I thought, wow, she's like a grown-up and she's so pretty.
Because she is sitting in flowers.
Well, no, because she had her hair in an updo and she just looked like so mature. And I mean, like, compare this to like Love Story and this was pretty mature.
But in Love Story, she was going to college.
I thought it was high school as a kid.
It was college. I think, I mean, it is a college campus. Maybe it was high school. I've got a little bit of trivia for this. I don't know, maybe you know this already, or you had it in your script. These flowers, there's a whole bunch of them, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there are a whole bunch of them, and they needed to get rid of them in some way.
Okay.
So on her tour for debut, she would hand these flowers, the ones from her music video, out to her fans.
Where did you find this?
I think I was looking up some things or something, and I just happened to cross this little bit of trivia.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and even more apparently.
Oh wow.
During a merch sale in 2019, some special orders just randomly would have one of these same flowers snuck into the box.
No way.
As an extra little gift.
You're kidding.
So either there's just a unfathomable amount of flowers, or they got extra for the tour, and they still had extra back in 2019.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, she's been handing out these flowers for, like, 10 years.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. This part of the music video has always made me totally misinterpret the lyrics of this verse, and it will forever, because the lyrics say, I almost didn't notice all the roses and the note that said. And so, like, obviously, in this story, there's probably just a bouquet of roses with a note. But because she's laying in a bed of roses,
of course,
my childhood brain said, yes, he left her a whole house full of flowers, and she just happened to not notice them. She was so distracted. Yep. And so in my mind, in this story, she walks in and there's flowers everywhere, and she's just like, today was so hard. And then she goes, oh, there's flowers everywhere.
And that's what a boyfriend, or that's what a lover and a person in an intimate relationship needs to do
is cover
the entire house.
Mm-hmm. That's what I expect.
The entire
from you,
apartment.
Daniel.
Yeah. Every single day.
Yeah.
New flowers.
Yeah. Anyway, the only other thing we really get in this scene is Taylor holds up a little note that says Taylor on it. That is obviously the note that he left her.
Of course, it has to be.
And I think it's funny too, like thinking about this story, like he left her a note that just said the exact same thing that he already said to her.
Yep.
He's like having a conversation, and then he's like, I better write this down for her, and then leaves it with a bouquet of roses.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Couldn't think of anything new.
I think it's funny.
Something I really like about going back to the dress, and this in this scene, it's really flat, but it's incredibly long. The shots that are a little bit further away, you can see more of the area around her, and you can see that the dress, it spreads out underneath her.
It gets bigger on the bottom,
Yeah.
but because they mostly just show her torso up, it looks like it's just a really long, straight dress all the way
like
down.
a pencil dress kind of thing.
Yeah. But it actually is like
it spreads out pretty far.
normal shape for like a prom dress. This is what I would think.
For 2007, definitely.
Yeah. As the second chorus starts, we get a final setting. This time it's pretty boring. It's just a plain white studio, and it's her and her band, and they're all wearing black and white behind her, and Taylor's spotlighted. She's wearing a little black dress, black cowgirl boots, and a black headband, and then she's got black arm warmers that come up to her elbows.
I think they call those gloves.
Well, they're not gloves because they don't cover her hands. They're just her arms.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I see it now.
Yeah. And she's playing a silver sparkly guitar, and she's got a really cute smoky eye look going on. And then she's got like a fancy stage mic that she's using.
Yeah. From like the 50s or whatever.
Yeah. And then the ring that she's wearing, I originally thought it was a cross. It's actually a fleur-de-lis.
Okay.
Anyway, the video just cuts between the various locations as she sings.
Now, I have some thoughts about this last setting here. I was just having difficulty figuring out why they have this scene, this setting, you know, in the music video. I'm glad they're presenting the musicians in her band, you know. I assume that those are the same ones in her recording. But all the scene setting that they had been using or working on, I guess establishing throughout the rest of the music video, of like, oh, I'm in the bathroom and I'm getting ready for a date or something, or and now I'm sitting outside in my cute dress and this is, you know, where we would go and talk and whatnot, and yada yada yada, and then just the kind of artistic choice of laying in a bed of roses, all the roses that he's given her or something like that, and then this one's just I'm just gonna be singing in front of you, and it kind of like it gives up almost. It feels like it gives up a little bit.
Just as a reminder, the story wasn't usually the focal point in music videos at that point. Not that makes it better.
But they were setting scenes, you know, per se.
Right.
Like and you could kind of lay the story on top of those locations, you know. You could kind of you could potentially pull something out of it. But then this is just, and now I'm on a stage in front of you.
Right.
And I'm singing and you're in the audience listening.
Yeah. It's different.
It feels so unrelated to the rest of of the scenes, because the other ones are frankly garishly saturated in its color palette, in its saturation, obviously, and this one's just black and white,
right,
and shades of gray,
which it looks good on its own, but I don't feel like it fits with the rest.
Now, as as a compliment, I'd say, or a pro to having such a distinct color for like this is black and white for this setting, is that when they start cutting between all the different locations over and over and over again, you can immediately tell where we are at just like right as soon as you get there, because this is all red, we're in the bed of roses. Oh, this is all green and purple, we're in the bathroom. It's blue, it's or whatever, it's we're on the porch, and now white, we're on the soundstage. And so for that, it is very distinct and understandable where we're at. We're not getting lost, we're grounded in that regard. But I find it to be just a little bit of a cop-out, or to just play your song in front of a camera instead of creating a story, you know. And I get that's what they did back then, and I think it could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. It's not the strongest end. I do want to know. I noticed that they used a clip twice.
What clip?
It's a clip when she's on the porch and she's in her blue dress and she raises her arms up and then bends them behind her head and like turns her head to the side. And they use it in the first chorus and then they use it in the interlude leading to the bridge. And there may be other reused shots, but I noticed this one specifically because when I was writing the synopsis originally, I was like, I'm so glad I'm not writing a shot-for-shot synopsis because I have no idea how I would describe that movement. And then later in the video, it came up again, and I went, wait
a second.
I saw this. So I noticed it, and I wrote a shot-for-shot
description of that
that movement. So her guitarist comes up to her and does his little guitar solo next to Taylor during the guitar interlude, and then
but then we cut away from the fiddler as soon as
we cut away from the fiddler, which I think is so tragic. When Taylor sings about her final "Before I Say Amen," she looks up at the sky on the porch, and it's just really cute and pure. And we end with her on the porch, and it looks like she does this really cute little giggle after she finishes singing, where she's just like so happy and on cloud nine.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's a really simple, cute video. But after all this, I think the question has to be asked, Daniel. What is our song?
What is our song?
What is our song?
Oh, you and mine.
You and me.
You and me, our
Daniel
song.
and Katie, what's our song?
Man or a Muppet.
That's my song.
Oh.
That was my song before we got together.
Okay, never mind. I don't know, I mean, I feel like if we ever listen to something, it's Taylor Swift. And so
It's true.
I don't know. We don't really have a song.
Yeah?
Maybe we should write one. Just
We
like
should
Taylor
write a
Swift.
song.
No, we shouldn't write one. I don't like being put on the spot like this. I don't know.
Should have thought about that.
I didn't.
You should have seen this question coming.
Oh shoot. I should have.
I was just thinking how we don't have a song.
Oh, before we finish the synopsis,
Uh-huh.
there's one specific spot at 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
Okay.
It like kind of slows down a little bit. And she's the way that she changes the rhythm for the lyric, tapping on his window, just it
Tapping on his window.
yeah, just like that. It's a tasteful and deliberate choice, and I loved it. It was a breath of fresh air and keeps me on my toes.
I also love the instrumentals at that point because they kind of tone it back. They take out the fiddle there, and it's just her and I think the banjo,
Maybe,
and maybe a guitar. But it's just
and then
really
it picks
laid
back up right after that.
Yeah.
It's like
a nice little reprieve.
It's a country bass drop of sort.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's a fun song. But we've been talking for so long, so let's go ahead and jump into our scores. So let's start by reminding everyone of our personal perception. I gave a 7.
And I give it a 6.5.
Okay, so we're pretty close. Starting with the song category, the complexity and intelligence of the songwriting. I gave this an 8.
I gave it a 7. I didn't really have much to say. It is a little bit difficult because country music just has so many more little riffs and instrumentally, there's a lot more going on, which I think is great. But the song structure, it didn't really. It followed the cookie cutter to me.
I agree. It's a verse chorus bridge, and then the chorus that mirrors the first verse.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the outro that mirrors the first verse.
Yeah.
And so it's very cookie cutter in that sense. But the instrumentals I felt like were so strong
Yeah.
on this. They did a really good job building this one.
For my performance, I gave it an 8 for the instrumentals.
I gave it a 10. I felt like there was nothing wrong performance wise.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed it. Expression, I gave this an 8.
Now, it didn't really touch me as much, maybe because I don't know if I've ever had a song with someone, nor if I wanted one. Sorry, Katie. I haven't really wanted a song with someone. I don't
Really?
really put too much importance on that. And
Maybe that's
so
like a girl thing.
maybe because and so it didn't really touch me the way that maybe for other people it did. So
Huh.
that's why I gave it a 6 for
Okay.
expression.
I've always every single person that I've ever even had a crush on, I've
You've
had a song for.
Oh wow. So wait, hold on a second. So
You
what's
don't
my
get,
song?
You don't get to know.
I don't get. Is
It's
it
Sweet
Summer
Nothing
Song?
by Taylor Swift.
Sweet nothing. I'm sweet, but I'm worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
No.
that's all I know about that
It's Sweet
song.
Nothing by Taylor Swift.
For lyricism.
I give this a 9.5.
9.5.
I feel like it does such a good job of and this is something that I really admire about country music is it does such a good job of telling a story in a way it presents information in just organic way, I feel like.
Yeah.
That is like how you would I
Kind of
don't
tell
know.
the story and
Yeah. It feels very conversational.
it feels conversational. And well, isn't that something that one of those critics said like, oh,
Yeah.
her conversational lyrics and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. And I really enjoy that. And I also feel like maybe it's because it's something that I've always thought like I'm always like, ooh, what's our song? What's our song together? You know, and so it's a thought process that I've always
Yeah. For the message,
You didn't give your
oh,
lyrics.
that's right. For my lyricism, I gave it an 8. I felt like it always drew me forward, in the song, and it painted that picture
Yeah.
really, really clearly.
Yeah.
In my head,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I also just really enjoy and I know it's like a common trope for country music and other music as well is the outro that mirrors the beginning of the song. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
It will give me chills a lot of the time. It doesn't
that
on
like,
this song.
we're back at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason it hits me, but
Okay.
it doesn't hit me as hard in this one, but I really, really appreciate it. So, for message, I gave this a 9. I felt like it's vague enough for anyone to relate to it, which is good.
I give it a 7. It didn't really touch me the way that it maybe touches others. I wasn't particularly blown away by its message.
Okay. Fair enough. Getting into the video category for cinematography, I gave this a 6.5.
Yeah, I wasn't too. I mean, there were a variety of shots.
There were.
And I was glad with what they could do with
I was-
their park and barkin.
Yeah,
but-
I was glad that there was a variety in each scene and that it wasn't just a camera here, a camera
Yeah.
here, a camera here.
I gave it a 6.
Yeah. Color, I gave it a 9. My only gripe was the black and white. I don't love that choice. It looks good, but doesn't really fit, in my opinion.
So, I appreciate the color that they chose, the different palettes that they had for the purpose of being able to cut between all the different scenes and knowing exactly where you were. You weren't getting lost. But maybe it's just because of the, they were in the aughts, that was a strange time for color palettes or color choices. It felt like the color choices they chose were very garish, and
That's what I like it. I
you
feel like
liked it.
I like it because I feel like they made the choice to be garish and they ran with it.
Okay, well, I originally gave it a 4.
Okay.
Because the bedroom slash bathroom scene with the green and purple and blue and
It's a
mirror
lot, but I also
and
recognize that
everything.
It's a scene,
I don't know. Yeah, but I'll bump it up to 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Editing. I give this a 6.
I give it a 6.5.
I don't really have a reason that I wrote down.
No,
I just-
it was nothing terribly special. I don't know. I didn't have
Yeah.
too much to complain about. They held a camera angle for as long as I got bored of it, and then they moved on to something else.
I will say one thing about the editing is that they've reused at least one shot, which is fine, but at least don't use a shot that is that memorable. Use
Yeah.
a shot where she's just like I don't know, another
Looking to the sky. Or something
yeah, something that's a little bit less like dramatic
Yeah.
movement wise. But anyway, editing I gave a 6.
I feel like we're gonna disagree on this next one.
On costume,
Yes.
oh, I gave it a 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Just because and this is also my bias living in 2023, looking back at 2000, what, 6? Is the 7?
2006.
It's 2006. I guess it's the fashion back then is different from it is now, and I'm not as well versed in.
Actually, I guess it's 2007. But
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
The fashion back then isn't. I'm not as well versed with that because I was only 8 years old.
I mean, I was only 6
But you were introduced to it.
when I was 9.
So in 2010 or so, right?
Yeah.
So like you were still much closer.
Wait,
to the
I wasn't
fashion.
9. No, that's a total blatant lie that I just told. I
Maybe.
was 12. No, wait, I was in 5th grade. How old were you in 5th grade?
I think you're 6 years old in first grade. That's the numbers that I have in my head for some reason.
I turned 12 in
So
6th
you're
grade,
11
so I
or
was
so.
11. So it would have been 2010.
Yeah. So you were much closer in years to this video. So I wonder if by the time that you got used to it, or like were introduced to it, you already had like or it was not as strange to see someone wearing those outfits.
Yeah, that's fair.
The silk dress in the flower scene, it doesn't look flattering.
Oh, I totally disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's so flattering. I think the blue dress and the orange dress.
And the blue dress looks like a high school
Hairy.
prom dress to me.
I totally disagree with you.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone like wear anything even remotely close to that in the real world. In
I've seen
TV,
it.
maybe.
I've seen it.
Okay, then your school was weird.
Okay. All right. I'm the weird one now.
But it's cute. It's so cute. I would wear something like that now.
Her dress?
A blue dress.
The blue dress?
Yeah.
To a high school prom?
No, I don't go to high school. I would wear that like in the normal.
Moving on to scenic design. This is my lowest score.
Okay.
I gave it a 3. Shag carpet in the bathroom, green and purple everywhere. And then I think we can agree on this. The bland white soundstage or studio that she was in towards the end. What was your score for scenic design?
I gave it a 7.
Okay.
I thought about giving it lower, but I felt like I really enjoy the porch and I really enjoy the flower scene. And even though I don't feel like it fits, I do enjoy the black and white. I don't know that it was the best choice, but it looks really nice. And so I feel like a 7 is as low as I can go without feeling bad about it.
For the performance, I was impressed with it. I gave this an 8.
I give it a 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is nothing that she could have done differently that would have made it better, in my opinion.
And then for direction,
I gave it a 6.
I give it a 5. I think that for these earlier videos that don't tell a story, it's just an excuse for us to see Taylor Swift. I think that my direction score is going to be pretty low consistently. So yeah, I give it a 5.
My brain is
you're getting really tired.
so foggy. I really can't even think straight right now.
It's okay. Let's finish this episode.
Okay.
All right, so that's our grading rubric for the actual points. Let's move on to our afterglow points.
So we get a personal perception bonus for me, because I gave a 7 for my personal perception.
But I only gave 6.5, so I am giving a 0 to the afterglow points.
1 point so far.
Going to the callback points, because this is from debut, there's not much to call back to. Do you think there's a callback at all?
No.
Or a reference of some sort?
Not at all.
Okay. Then yeah, I didn't catch any, so I didn't give any points for that. Going on to play points, what did you give them?
So my first play point, it's like 2 things in one, but it's really just one thing.
Okay.
The nostalgia of this song / how pretty she is and how it makes my 12-year-old heart flutter.
Yeah. She is very pretty.
I had the biggest crush on her when I was 12.
And
I
you
did
didn't
not
realize it.
know it. I did not know it.
Yeah.
I literally would spend my free time Googling Taylor Swift and just looking at pictures. This was my favorite picture of her. Were pictures from this video. My next point is the blue dress. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's so cute, and she looks so cute in it. And then the third point is for the flower scene. For some reason, that's the one that always just like makes me like, oh, this is our song. This is the video. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I think it's cute. I gave 1 point to the syncopated tapping on the window bit, where tapping on the window.
On your window.
Yeah, that thing. I don't have it in my head right now, but yeah, I always get a little bit more excited whenever that happens. I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know. And then I give another point for giving variety to the park and bark shots. It made it a little bit more bearable. You know, not that I'm like, ugh, but I was enjoying my time watching it rather than like, stop cutting back to this. Go tell me something else. Show me something else. You know. And then -1 point for the shag in the bathroom. I'm not gonna get over it, and it never should have happened.
It is weird. I'm not gonna deny that.
It never should have happened.
And
we shouldn't normalize it.
I'm sure that not very many people even realize that they're in the bathroom, because there's a couch in the bathroom.
There's a couch in their bathroom.
It's not just a carpet. There is a couch.
There's a couch, and that couch has a skirt on it.
Yeah, so I'm sure that not many people watched this. And
Like,
went,
if she
they're in the
splashes from her vanity, it's gonna get the couch wet. It's gonna get the shag wet.
Yeah.
There's gonna be mildew and mold everywhere.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
No good. Anyway, our last category, or our last question is, how well does the video benefit the song? And this can be plus or minus up to 2 points. And I argue that it doesn't benefit or harm the song, so it should just be zero.
Me too.
So that brings my total to 106 out of 130 with +5 afterglow points.
And mine to 82.5 out of 130, +5 afterglow points. That means I have an average of 6.34 out of 10. And my personal perception at the very beginning was 6.5. So I was only 0.2.
Nice.
0.16 above my actual score.
Nice. My average was 8.1, so I was about a full point off.
What did you give for your 7?
7.
Okay, yeah.
Let's move on to our suggestions. Get this party.
This is something that we've been listening to, or something we love that we want to share with y'all.
Yeah. So, should I go first?
Who usually goes first? Is it me or you?
I don't know.
I'll go first.
Okay.
My first. We bring a song and a film for those of you who are just popping in for the first time. My song this episode is, it's called "Life on Mars" by Aurora, and apparently it's actually a cover of a David Bowie song.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good. This one is from I think it's an HBO TV show called Girls or something like that. But I haven't watched the show. I just came across the song naturally. I've heard this song and other songs like it described as singing in cursive, and I think it fits the vibe. Now, I could try to sum up the song in a couple sentences, but there's so many facets that I find interesting about it that I would probably cause a 30-minute conversation at least. So, I'll just say this. I keep it in my playlist Napping Underwater off a California beach on a humid summer night. And this was one of the first playlists that I ever showed Katie. So she knows what kind of vibe I'm talking about. But for you, that playlist is where I put the songs that give me that feeling of being sad in proximity to happy things, or like a sense of guilt, or a sense of loneliness and despair, or something like that. It's not the songs that I go to cry for or to cry in front of. It's just the songs that help me feel. I don't know. And this song, it fits all three of those criteria.
I listened to it the other night and I quite liked it, but I will say that I prefer David Bowie's rendition.
I haven't heard David Bowie's actually.
It's a lot more upbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I like it because it's a little sad, but I'll have to try out David Bowie's. But my film this episode is a TV show. It's an anime called The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. And you can find it on Netflix, or you can find the first season on not Crunchyroll, Funimation. But I like to listen to the dub. I know, but the thing is that the description or the dialogue goes so fast that reading the sub, you're too late to the joke that's happening, and that's one of the reasons that I love it. So my little sister is the one who actually introduced me to this and to all anime. Really, she's kind of my filter to find the good stuff out there. I think she was this anime was the first one that she showed me, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or whatnot. But from the first episode. And it gets better and better every single episode going to the end of the first season. It got me hooked. They're short episodes. They're super fast paced because they were trying to like fit entire storylines into like 20 minutes or like 10 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But it talks about this normal high school boy named Saiki K, except he's not normal at all. He's an all-powerful psychic. The thing is that he does everything he can to just fit in and not be noticed because he just wants a normal life. But he is unwittingly and unwillingly becoming friends with this like a socially awkward guy who pretends that he has superpowers in his right arm, or a guy so dumb that Saiki K cannot read his mind, or the prettiest and most perfect girl in all of Japan, and the constantly at 110% class president, and they just love him. But what really takes the comedy is how fast-paced it is, like I said. But yeah, those are my suggestions.
Okay, so for my song suggestion, this is a song that Maddie actually suggested to me.
Yeah?
A long while ago. And I've been meaning to suggest it.
Maddie, friend of the podcast.
Maddie, friend of the podcast. This song is called Labor, and it's by Paris Paloma. Labor has been making its rounds online, and the bridge went viral before the full song even was released. And Maddie introduced it to me around that time, and she told me it makes her feel the feminine rage of all her ancestors combined. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't agree more. This song gives a voice to that feminine rage that has just been stewing for generations. It's an alternative folk with hauntingly poetic lyrics and an acoustic bass counter melody that like has like a conversation with the melody that she sings, and it's gorgeous.
That's great. What's that called again?
It's called Labor. I highly recommend reading the Mary Sue article by Kimberly Terasaki about this song. She does such a good job like dissecting the lyrics and what they mean in relation to women's history and the patriarchy. But the song articulates a rage that so many women have within them, and I think it's an important listen. So
that's great.
Anyway,
I want to go check it out.
It's super good, and I actually wanted to share some of the lyrics, but then I was like, if I choose one lyric, then I have to share them all. So I just didn't. But anyway, my film is definitely not one that is unheard of at all.
Yeah. The Hunger Games.
It's the Hunger Games.
Oh, that's totally a joke.
It's the Hunger Games. I joked a while ago that I was gonna suggest the Hunger Games, and then I went and I watched the Hunger Games, and I was like, man, I love the Hunger Games so much. And then I decided I'm gonna start reading every book that Taylor Swift has recommended publicly, and I started with the Hunger Games series. Of course. And so I just finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm like,
which is the prequel of the Hunger Games, right?
Right. And I'm like 5 chapters into the first book. I've obviously read them before, but this franchise is so good, and it's the perfect love story. The original trilogy is, in my opinion, and I'll never get tired of it. And I think everyone should go rewatch it and support our best friend Jennifer
Lawrence.
I believe that it's on Hulu currently, but it seems like it's being passed around by all the streaming platforms.
I'm sure.
Because I would start one and get halfway through it and then be like, oh, I gotta go do something, and I'd come back and it'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay.
It's hot potato.
So I think it's on Hulu, but I may be wrong. But that's my suggestion.
Well, before you're done with the Hunger Games, what are you, Team Gale or Team PETA?
Ugh. Anyone who says they are Team Gale is a red flag.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, forget first dates. Just ask them if they're Team PETA or Team Gale.
Yeah, and then marry them if they're Team PETA.
Yeah.
Or just don't date them if they're Team Gale.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we'll ostracize everyone who...
Who are I guess the real question is, who do you support?
I support Katniss.
Okay. That
No,
wasn't the question, but all right.
I'm Team PETA.
Good.
PETA does a lot more for her. I mean, not now. The obvious counterpoint is that Gale takes care of her family while she's in the games.
Uh-huh.
But he was already taking care of her family.
Well, and not only that, but Gale, and in the movies they downplay this a lot, which I appreciate because it makes it so much more of like a, who should I pick, and less of like a, oh my gosh, just go with PETA.
Uh-huh.
But in the books, Gale is an asshole.
Really?
He's just like so controlling over her, and he is just like, I don't know, he just is like a toxic man, and I hate it. And PETA
He's a hunter. PETA bakes cakes.
PETA's perfect. He bakes. He's charitable.
I bet he's
kind.
got a really good sourdough starter.
He's been in love. Oh, I'm sure. He's been in love with Katniss for years, and he never felt like he needed
Could
to
talk
like.
to her.
Yeah, and then, but he takes care of her even when she is like against him or like angry with him or whatever.
Now,
and
PETA doesn't volunteer, right?
no,
Do they pull his name first?
but he does volunteer in Catching Fire.
Really?
Yeah, because they pull Haymitch's name, and he volunteers.
Okay.
And
Yeah, let the older guy live, you know?
well, because he wants to make sure that Katniss gets taken care of,
Oh.
and he can't trust anyone to do that but himself.
You couldn't trust Haymitch?
He can't trust anyone but himself.
Okay, because he loves her.
He loves her. And then the best part in the whole series is when Katniss has nightmares and she screams and Peter runs in and he's like, what? She's like, I was having a bad dream, and he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes to leave and she goes, Peter, stay with me. And then he comes and he holds her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched that part, you were actually in my room asleep, and I came in and I crawled into bed with you because I was like, I love you so much. Anyway,
I work graves, and so I'm always asleep in the middle of the day. Sometimes I come over and crash at Katie's place.
I love the Hunger Games.
It's great. It's great.
Everyone go watch it.
Anywho,
Super exciting news, Daniel.
what's the news?
Our episodes are now available on YouTube.
No way.
So now you can listen on YouTube. Which
Are they just like a little black screen with audio, or is there something special to it?
It's just a picture of our podcast.
That's great.
Our other super exciting news is that now you can grade Taylor's music videos using the same grading sheet as we do. If you go to our website, you can access a template that has the exact same rubric, all the grading guidelines and everything. It does all the math for you. It's super nice.
it's
Daniel
great.
put that together for us.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we'll applaud him.
Thank you.
But now you can do it too.
And the weighting for the afterglow points have been a little bit adjusted, just so that you have the same number of them, but
So that you can do it on your own instead of with two people.
Yeah.
But it'll be the same categories and criteria.
and so go ahead and fill those out, and if you want to share them with your friends or mention us in your Twitter post or whatever.
Absolutely. We would love to see your scores for
Yeah.
whatever music video you're grading, whether it's Taylor's or
Or I don't
anyone
know.
else's.
Drake.
Weird Al.
Weird Al.
I'd love to know what you think of
okay,
Because
go.
I'm Fat.
Or I mean, since every single Apple user has them, you too.
Right. So go ahead, check out that grading sheet, and get grading.
I think that's it for this episode.
Is it?
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Next time we'll be taking a look at the music video for Willow, so be sure to check that out.
If you love listening to our show, please leave a rating or review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or whatever podcatcher you're listening on to help our show be seen by more people.
You can find our scores for every music video we've discussed on our website, listed in the description of this episode, and you can follow us at OSOF Podcast on all social media platforms.
Thanks again for listening. I am Daniel Francis.
And I'm Katie Ludlow, and this has been Our Songs,
Our Films!